Excuse me.
What's up, LA? Welcome to Cent Sesh, where everybody gets their 2 cents in and everybody has a voice. My name is Marlene Lopez, and today we're going to get a little bit heavy for you guys. We're going to talk about racism. Racism, yes. And the reason why we want to talk about racism is because typically when we hear about racism in the media or in discussions, we usually hear about racism in general, and we don't really hear people owning up to their own racism. We don't hear people saying, yep, this is how I feel about this particular group. So we're just going to bite the bullet and do it ourselves. And as usual, we'll be doing our discussion in talking circle styles. That means we'll be passing around a talking stick so that everybody gets their fair share of time and we don't confuse ourselves and go crazy. So first, let's present our speakers. To my right is...
Hello, my name's Jesus.
Oh, it's my turn. My name is Nick Hernandez.
What up, guys? This is Xavier.
Nice. All right. All right, guys. And our first question surrounding the topic of racism is, are you racist? Jesus, passing over the talking stick to you, sir.
All right. Well, am I racist?
Be honest.
That's actually like a
Come on now.
tough question. I don't see myself being racist. I don't think I'm racist, but I might say some racist stuff. But like I don't consider myself to be a racist. I'm just regular guys just saying racist stuff. That's it. But
so you don't ever believe in any like stereotypes or prejudices?
I feel everyone should be equal. No one should be mistreated for their color, race, or anything. Like everyone should be equal. So for me, I'm not, like I said, I'm not racist. I will say racist stuff, but it's just to kind of like make a joke out of it. Because to me, I kind of find it funny that people just can't get along. They can't seem to, like, there's like a border in between that. Oh, this person is this or that. Like, I just used it to like play around. But yeah, let's pass it on to Nick. Pass the talking stick to Nick.
Oh yeah, all right. I know some homie G's back there. Yeah. What?
Just answer the question.
I got some niggas. No, all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta start off like that.
You gotta start like that. Okay.
Yeah, I have to start off with that. I gotta say every slur, beaner, chink,
Look at
all this.
Xavier roll his eyes.
The reason why is because yes, I am racist to.
Thank you for being honest.
Because it's true. I am racist, and the racist fact comes from I profile people because not like, you know,
Okay. I'm like
not like they're less than me, but I profile people because I want to be safe and also protect the people near me. So whenever I see someone who's like suspicious looking, I know that may sound bad. It may sound like
what makes them suspicious looking?
Makes them suspicious?
It's
when they have their hood on, they have all this on.
Trayvon Martin.
Particular
this may
skin
be
color.
this is, yeah.
Let's not get into that one. Let's not get into that one.
Well, it's like they did a test, right? They did a test before, and it's like how we said before, it's conditioning young minds. They did a test, and it was a test with children, and they gave them a doll. One was white and one was black, and they asked which one was beautiful, and most of the subjects would say that the white doll was beautiful, and they wouldn't know why. It's because it's propagated in the media. So what we see as criminals is what we identify in the streets as dangerous. So when I see a black man who's wearing a hood compared to a white guy who's like, you can like in the dark, I'm gonna mostly move over to the black guy because I'm not going to the white guy. The white guy's crazy if it's walking at night in the kind of neighborhoods that I'm going out. That's crazy. That guy's crazy. It's dangerous. He's a dangerous guy. The white guy.
Oh my God! Stop it.
Okay.
But yeah, because you're dangerous. No. Yeah. All right. The point is, I profile people, so I'm not gonna say I'm not racist because I'm not like. I do think racist thoughts. And it's because I want to protect myself and protect people around me. Therefore, I will, be racist. And also, I do make racist jokes too. And that's because with people who I feel are comfortable enough to do it. And I know some people aren't comfortable enough. But if I'm with the majority, I lean towards the majority. So I'm going to pass the talking stick to Xavier.
I hope that ended up on the mic. No, okay. I hope I do justice by myself and not like say something I don't mean. But am I racist? I honestly do not believe so because I mean, there's racism and then there's systemized racism. I'm not allowed to be systematically racist. I can't put a certain people down, like, politically or anything like that. I do have, like, some stereotypes that I don't believe in them for sure. Like, I don't believe some things like when, like, black people, like, less educated, stuff like that. Like, no. Like, I don't believe in anything. You make yourself who you want to be. But it's like, I feel like I have my notes. I'm not even reading them.
You're prepared.
So to answer that question, I said, am I racist? I said no, because I don't consciously have any preconceived opinions on any type or group of people, you know? But I can say wholeheartedly that I am a little stereotypical at points. But it's like, it's not that I mean to, like especially when I'm with Irving and stuff, like, I will say some stereotypical things, but it's like I don't believe in them, that's for sure. I don't really know why I do it. It's probably because definitely in the last podcast, David brought up how we act within different groups and stuff like that. So in their group, they have, like, the racist jokes, and they're all comfortable with them. So I'm like, okay.
Okay,
like,
so you, like, blend into the racist
I kind of
environment.
just blend into it, because then they feel uncomfortable if I'm just sitting there like, man, like, what are they talking about and stuff like that. So I kind of just mold in and flow with the river on that one.
Nice.
That's how I answer that question.
Thank you for your honesty. Okay. Here's the thing. Am I racist? Sure. But I don't say that like, yeah, I'm super happy I'm racist. No. I'm just okay with admitting it. That's the thing, because I know that it's also not my fault. I grew up in a society that was racist, that made me fear people that I shouldn't be fearing, like, you know, Middle Eastern people in particular. But see, I'm older. I'm probably like the oldest one here, and so I've really been able to confront my racism, and it always it never was like deep. It was always like a superficial, like, first thought, and then I pushed it aside and was like, that's stupid, and moved on. But recently, as I got older, I started facing a really big problem, which I did have issues with white people, to be honest with you. We're all people of color here, and I think it's interesting that we talk about how we feel about white people, because we tend to think about racism usually as how we feel about people of color, but how do we feel about white people?
I love the white people.
You what?
I love the white people.
Yeah, they got money.
But see, like, the positive stereotypes are also kind of racist towards them too, because that just kind of clumps them all together, which is what racism does, right? So I began to feel like I kind of assumed the worst sometimes about white people in the beginning, and with time I've had to deconstruct that. But again, it's something that I've had to deconstruct with time. I was being racist, like, subconsciously, without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
so passing it on to Jesus.
Well, this like what the whole stories we're still talking about it.
The next question, if you want.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. So I guess we'll just go ahead and tell stories about racism. Like, if you experienced it, you were part of it. You know, it's just to get a little more detail of, like, different people and different views. So I'll just start off with mine. I guess I've experienced it, like, throughout work, outside, like, all over the place. I have a friend that he's actually, like, I don't know if I would consider him racist. Maybe he might consider himself, but whenever he says any, like, racist stuff or whatever, I'll just go ahead and just tell him, like, damn, you're racist. But I don't see him like that. Like I said, I play around with that, like, jokes, like, poking fun at stuff like that. And with me experiencing it, I feel when people say certain people are racist, it makes me feel like maybe that person has, like, a higher power than someone else. Like, it feels like whoever's not racist, it's kind of like a low class. They have their opinions don't matter, stuff like that. So
Wait, so people who are not racist have less power?
that's how it makes me feel like
That's
the way,
interesting.
because the way I see it, it's like that's how I see it. I'm like, okay, well, why? Like, why does it have to be so different? Why does racists have to be a big problem? Why, like I said in the beginning, why can't everyone just be equal? Just
Well, it's probably because they've framed everything around race in this country. Like, the discussion is always around race, you know, like disparities in the system do rotate around race. So I don't think it's natural. I don't think people are naturally racist. I just think that it's the society we grew up in.
yeah, and I mean, the way I see it, people get influenced by that, and they look at it. They're like, well, you know, everyone else is doing it. How come? Like, we think it's okay. Like, they get viewed. They look at it and they view it like, oh, you know, it's a good thing. There's nothing bad about it. It's like, oh, it's just speaking my mind, like how I feel. But they kind of interpret it like in a different way. But yeah, that's the way. Like I said, that's the way I experience it. Like work, friends, outside, family, stuff like that. But half of that, mostly like I would say 90% of all that experience that I've witnessed, is not really harmful. It's just like, in a way, it's just like differentiate from other people, makes them feel like, you know, okay, this person's different because of this. But overall, I feel like they make it seem like it's a bad thing. Like they should take it and run with it and be like, oh, it's bad because they're making them feel like useless, worthless, or whatever, like whatever their definition is. But yeah, that's my little story about that. So I'll pass this talking stick to Nick.
Oh yeah, racist stories. I knew a few racist people, a lot of them actually. It's sometimes because stop showing shit. It's mostly because most examples I've heard from were from old people, because you know, cultures and the age affiliation is what makes racism sometimes to them okay. Like, older people don't know that it's not appropriate to say wetback, negro, nigger, or nigga, or any of those other words. They're like chink. Huh? These are words.
I'm trying.
I'm not gonna avoid these hard words because even though even though they sound mean, like people have to hear it to know, like, yeah, it's like bad, and it's in programmed to us to like respond to it. So we're like Pavlov's dogs, where it's like you hear it and you connect it with the negative annotation, which is like all that slavery or all that like jumping over the border and all this like weird constructivism we have, and they hear it and they go, oh, it's bad. And which also goes into how conditioning our society does to us, which is that like the word like what is it, nigga, how it's being like sometimes it's used like in a song and it's like not a bad thing. Sometimes it has different like meanings to different people,
like a slang.
Yeah, it's like a slang now, which is really like debatable whether or not it's a good thing to do, but people do it because it's like popularized, you know. It's like, oh, it's a cool thing, and it kind of fades away from racism, but it's still there. It's still like the meaning behind words is what really affects people. So let me tell you a story, because I wasn't telling a story. So the story is that I knew a few Mexicans who were very vocal about black people, and I don't want to.
Oh my god.
I don't.
Continue.
I don't want to throw her under the bus.
Okay, it's a girl.
It's a girl, and it's someone close to me. It's someone who genetically gave me
Is
her
this
genes.
recent? Does this
Sounds
okay,
like a
continue. We figured it out. We got it.
So I was hanging out with a few young, lovely black young ladies, right? So she saw me, and decided to have a conversation about me, saying how like she hopes that I'm not dating one of them because she doesn't want.
I've heard that before, and that's messed up.
She doesn't want that.
Yeah.
But then after a while, she sort of just became accustomed to it. It's like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just that she's worried because, you know, like it's what she's was raised to grow up to. Like, doing racism is always conditioning. It was like conditioning us to think a certain way and to put, you know, person down. So that's why. So that's my story. So I'm gonna hand it off to Xavier here.
All right. So I've had like bouts of stories of racism about things that have happened to me. I've had the times when I'm like walking down the street
Can
and
you explain
like
your background?
my background. Oh, I'm black. So it's kind of hard to sit in this-
African American.
You know, I'm African American. You know, Nigerian descent on one side, but I'd be walking down the street or whatever, and it'd be like a little family, and it's like they'll be walking, and then I kind of like catch up to them because I'm like a fast walker, and it like I'm trying to get by, and then they like pull their kids like, oh my god, it's black dude, like oh shit, like we need to get down. Or this moment when it was like I was in the elevator, or like I got into the elevator, and this white lady, she had her bag, and she like gripped it like way harder, and I was like, you're broke. I don't
And
want your money that you
They
don't
act like
have.
you can't see that.
Yeah, and it's
That bag ain't
like,
Gucci.
You
but
can,
it's like,
if you've ever done that, people notice when you do that.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
But it's like other than the elevator situation, like or like let me see, like when I'm walking down the street and then another person is coming in the opposite direction, they'll see me and then they cross the street immediately, and I'm like, But
Also obvious.
the
guys.
thing is,
Stop doing
like, I hate assumptions though, because when I tell people that like stuff like that has happened to me, like other than the elevator situation, because that one's a little obvious, but it's like when like the most recent one, when the person like crosses the street or whatever, like I'd hate to assume that they're like, oh, it's a black guy, let me cross the street. Maybe they actually had something to do on the other side of the street. And like, especially like where in my neighborhood, like there's a lot of housing, so it's like maybe their house is across the street. Maybe they're making it easier. So I'd hate to assume that they're being racist or prejudiced or anything like that. And I guess that's all I have to say about.
But
stories
also,
that
but
I
yeah,
have.
but also, you're a human being, and you're aware of your space, and
True.
you can sense when people have fear and when they kind of hurry away.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not just about. I'm glad that you don't want to assume, but also, you can trust yourself,
True.
as we all trust ourselves. And when things get weird and strange, I mean, do you feel like people sometimes move out of the way because?
I'm gonna say I've like that's happened enough when like definitely some of them are because I'm black, you
Right.
know. But also, what was I gonna say? I had the perfect word and it just escaped my brain. God damn it. Jesus?
I'm right here.
Yeah, he's right there. He's
I'm
right
right here.
there.
That's
Across the
okay.
table.
Well,
Okay.
if it comes back to me, I'll just like butt in and say.
But I mean, I did want to add to that, saying that whole elevator.
I got it. I got the word.
You got it? You want to say it?
Okay, so also I don't want to blame people either, because just like how you said, like we're like where we grow up a certain way and things are put into our brains, you know. So it's like, and sometimes I do dress a little intimidating. I walk really fast too. I have the hood on, shades on, mad face, you know, and it's like I would get away from that guy too. But then there are days when I'm wearing like tan pants and like a flower red, the brightest stuff on, and it's like stuff like that still happens to me.
Tyler the Creator.
Well, you said
Exactly.
you would walk away from a guy like that too.
Yeah, like
a black man dressed in a hood.
Anybody.
Anybody?
Because
If it was
it's
a
like
girl in a hood and glasses,
anybody.
you'd run away from the girl like she looks
Anybody.
freaking crazy.
It's like if you look crazy, I'm getting away from you. But most like
But that qualifies as crazy as a hoodie and glasses. That's
True.
crazy.
Not crazy, but intimidating. Intimidating things obviously scare people, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't have a general fear of people. So it's like if I'm walking down the street and I see that, I'm not gonna cross the street because I know that
everyone's
was like
scared of you.
yeah,
Apparently.
exactly. I don't have to walk across the street, you know. I'll beat you up, kid. But I don't know.
You use it.
I use it as like a little scapegoat, you know.
Well, that's another interesting thing. Okay, we can talk about that. How we use some racial stuff even for our benefits sometimes. I know as a Latina, that's actually come up several times for me. But my story about racism, the first one I'm going to tell you is the first one I can remember of my life, which is me and my mom going to a grocery store in a really upper class neighborhood, and my mom not being able to find change or find the exact right amount of money when we get to the cashier. And the lady, who was a white lady, is getting really, really impatient. And finally, she's like, ugh, these effing spics. You know, and,
Whoa.
Damn.
my mom, who had no idea what the word was, you know, but I did. And I was just shocked that that word still existed.
You like say what?
And yeah, I just looked at her like,
Repeat
what?
yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was like the first time I ever felt aggression towards us because we were Latinos. And then for my personal experience in high school, really quickly, I started working for a lady at the Grove. We all know what kind of hangout that is. It's really nice. I really like the Grove. Anyways, but and so I was there, and I was starting to work at a restaurant. And the first day I meet my boss, she asked me like point blank, like, oh, like, hey, what's up? Like, tell me more about you. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, I'm gonna tell her I'm in high school. I play the violin. Blah, blah, blah.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, all the good stuff. And the first thing she asked me, she's like, so how many kids do you have?
Ooh.
And I was like, excuse me? I was like, I'm in
crazy.
high school. And then she's like, oh, you're still in school? That's great. I was like, I'm 15, lady. Like, what the heck?
That's some crazy prejudice.
Yeah, I mean, so I've had those instances, and hence maybe I've had really bad experiences. So I think that led to some reverse racism on my end, which I'm not very proud of. But again, it all happened. I wasn't thinking about it. It just kind of happened all subconsciously. Yeah.
Well, like to top off, continue with you guys, what you guys were saying with those stories. I feel sometimes those type of people, like I want to say it like that, but like those certain type of people, they are kind of give like a bad example. In a way, they kind of like make people lead to something else. So it's like with like African Americans, sometimes there'll be like the bad kind actually, and they go they're dressed in a different way or whatever, and that makes other people think like, oh, that's how everyone are. And same thing with like Hispanic, Mexican, stuff like that. They go ahead and they do something that causes them to like view us in a different way. Mm-hmm. For example, I have a couple of not like friends, like kind of like family members to me, and from what I've seen, they're in high school, they're like 16 or 17, and they already have a kid. Like they get pregnant. It's like they can't give a bad reputation to all of us. Like, you guys can't get out of high school without getting pregnant or having a kid or something like that. So I just feel like I just want to add that.
I mean,
in,
that's
like,
not a bad thing either. If you have a kid, that's okay. I mean,
yeah, it's not bad, but
it happens, and you got to make the best of it. But like, in some situations, it's not ideal. But we shouldn't make people feel bad about having kids either.
It's not bad. Like, it's okay, whatever. But it's the fact that
children are blessings.
it's
but
just,
of course, I'm not promoting like underage pregnancy, but I'm just saying if it happens,
it's always better it's always better to go for your education first. But it's like the whole point is just like, I feel our own people like are making us look different just by the way they're acting. They're not being like civilized.
No,
and
yeah,
stuff like
for sure. We always take the exception and we apply it to the general, and that's for sure. Like, I think we all pretty much know that, but again, I think that it always happens on a subconscious level.
Right.
You know what I mean? We always like kind of remember the bad and not the good.
Right.
Because there are plenty of good people in all groups, right?
Yeah. I feel like sometimes we just have to give them like a second chance, like second opportunity.
Yeah. Don't hold it against them.
It's like,
don't hold it against.
Like, if one person is racist too, doesn't mean the whole group of people
right.
they
it's like
belong to.
It's like if you see someone like that, let them be. Like, don't move away or whatever. Don't act differently. Like, they're doing their own stuff. You're doing your own stuff. Just walk out, and if they look at you, just smile or say hi or whatever, and that's it. Like, you just go on with your day. Usually, that's like, for example, like that's what I usually do. I just walk whenever I'm walking around. There's someone, and we get eye contact together. Like, then I'll just say, "Hey," or "Not my head," or something. Like, you don't have to hold anything against them. It's not like, if you don't see them like that, it's cool, but it's always, like I said, it's always better to give them like a second chance. It's not their fault. It's like this. It's not our fault. It's just the way media's like making us feel like it. So next, not to wrap this up, what can we do to solve this problem of racism, like, overall? Like,
some brainstorming ideas. Get crazy.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Typically what everybody says.
I feel
Like, since they're little, just teach them not to be
Right.
That's Wonderly jumping in saying we teach the youngins about racism early.
But
Catch
most
it
of go to
early.
school,
No.
Ooh, that's another good point. That racism is taught in school. How is racism taught at school, y'all?
Slavery, to talk about Hitler, stuff like that.
Well, they typically tend to focus on European history only. It's not that they straight up teach racism. It's just that they teach it by ignoring other groups.
No,
You know what I
like
mean? Making it less.
I mean, like students, like some, like other people.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And then the other students around you, you carry their own beliefs too, and you learn from your peers as well. So, catching it early for Wonderly. What about
Right.
Nicholas?
All right.
Nicolas
So this is
Cage.
what we
Can
do.
you stop drinking Dr. Pepper? Jesus.
I know. There's another bottle in there.
So this is what we do, right? This is what we do. We get all the kids, right? Put them on buses, take them to a camp that will reallocate their.
That sounds,
cut,
yeah, that's
Okay,
already sounding crazy.
Here's a real thing. Here's a real thing.
Re-education.
That wasn't the real.
Mine's,
No,
mine's,
that was a real thing. He's a real thing. First, Dr. Pepper, I like it.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Yeah, I was thinking about it's mostly we teach the kids because the kids are the new generation, right? Like the old generation were taught.
Forget about those guys.
Yeah,
I just-
don't forget about
They're
them.
done.
But understand that they were accepted like that, and then
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the people
right.
disappeared, and they were like, hey, now I can't be racist. What's up with that? But with the kids, yeah, everything main focus is to teach kids how to not be racist. But to me, I have a more cynical view on it, saying that like it will, since we live in America will never get over racism. We could make it.
America.
We could like submerge it so it's like less damage to people, but it's always going to be around because it's like we built the foundation on racism. We built it on the history is built upon racism about slavery. It's what built America, which is sad that it shouldn't have, but it's what was there. Like all this, we're progressing in a slow rate.
Killing of Native Americans.
Yeah, the killing of Native Americans. We thought this was. I'm not saying I wasn't there. Americans thought this was, India, and they're like, oh, look, it's the Indians. We call you Indians, and they're like,
Yeah.
no, we're Native Americans. Like, no, you're Indians. And so, a solution I want to say would be teach kids to understand each other better than just forcing them to go be like, instead of like just correcting them, going like, no, you said something racist, let me hit you. No, that's not really how it works. You have to teach them by themselves for them to make an effort. They have to do the effort to be, more understanding. And, well, I don't have a really clear way to do that, but that's all I got. So I'll pass it on to whoever wants it.
What's up? Okay, so let me go through my paces. Stereotypes, no idea. I do not think we can get rid of those. I'm not sure about that. Let me see. Number 2, prejudice. I feel like we can get rid of prejudice. Let me read down this definition of prejudice first. Actually, prejudice is the preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. So I feel like we can get rid of prejudice by having community, right? You have many races built in one community. You learn to love each other. That's just how it works, And I feel like in Los Angeles, it's a great way to do that because we're just so ethnic. Like there's so many races
colorful.
around.
We're colorful.
Los Angeles is such a colorful place,
Well,
So shit.
It sucks sometimes, but it's like
It's nice.
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but it's like even in Los Angeles though, there are like I guess places where there's a majority of a race, So it's like that kind of makes it harder to do that, But I feel like if you get kids, especially around other races, they can like build their own like kind of like understanding of how things work, And then let me see, number 3, systemized racism. We can definitely get rid of that. That is,
Heck
I
yeah.
feel like that is the closest thing to it because I'm not sure what the time frame was, but like 70s, 80s, or something like that. There's
50s, 40s.
something like that. Like the FHA, the Federal Housing Administration, they had this thing called redlining, where they would draw like lines around like neighborhoods or whatever, and they would choose who gets the best like what is it? Like the
Like
best
best housing options or
yeah,
what?
like they give them the best housing options, the least like interest on their houses and stuff like that. And primarily, like the black neighborhoods would definitely get the worst type of rates.
Right.
They'd get the highest interest. They'd get the least deals possible. While the white people did not have to spend. Well, houses are expensive, but they didn't have to spend as much. That's for sure. So like programs like that, definitely we can get rid of those. And then like in like the workplace, you know, times when it's like when you're getting interviewed or something like that, they don't ask you how many kids you have because you're a specific race. Or they don't deny you working there because you're a specific race. So that's my 2 cents. We could definitely get rid of systemized racism. Stereotyping, I have no idea. I'm not doing that. It is up to the people to get shit right. Thank you, Wanderly. Thank you. I like that.
Okay.
So that's me.
Let's see. Okay, so me. So the first thing I want to say is that first identifying, like all problems, identifying the problem is the first step to solving it. I don't believe that racism is a natural trait of human beings. I think it's something that we learned so we could unlearn it. That being said, so once we identify racism, then we can begin solving it. See, and that's the hardest part, to be honest with you, because I didn't even realize I grew up thinking absolutely not, like racism is horrible, I have no racism, like no, and I always gave everyone a chance. But it was only until I was able to leave my community from like being surrounded by 90% Latinos to being surrounded by, I don't know, like 80% everybody else, that I realized how uncomfortable I felt. And so it took me going out and having experiences with different groups for me to, first of all, acknowledge I even had any racist prejudice and ideas. And second of all, to acknowledge it as a problem. So sometimes we don't even realize we're racist because we haven't even put ourselves in a situation where we can identify it. So what I would say is make everybody have experiences with each other. Take different groups of people and, you know, do stuff together. Go out hiking, go
turn up,
go to, you know, go camping, take a trip or something.
Biking.
Take groups of people and then identify how you feel first around different people to acknowledge what is going on. And then we can begin talking about it and solving it and unlearning it, because there's some bullshit. All right, that's it.
Let's just be all friends.
Ooh, yeah, and date somebody. Date somebody outside of your group.
Just
Right.
date the rainbow.
Come on
guys.
now.
That is a sin.
Date the rainbow. Heck yeah. I'm
Get out of here,
actually
grandma.
I'm in a interracial relationship right now, and it's amazing.
Right.
Thank you,
Mexican
thank
and then
you.
Hispanic. There you go. That's interracial.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
What is he?
Latino. My boyfriend's French.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, you know, French,
I
Spanish.
know.
Have you dated anybody who's... Okay. Have you dated anybody?
I'm a loner.
No, I've never. I don't know.
Never dated outside of your group?
I don't know what that is. I don't.
That's good.
I don't know what outside is.
I don't know. First relationship. Somebody's like, have you dated
Oh.
anybody?
No.
Wait a minute. It says so soon. Have you ever dated someone outside your group, your race?
Nope. Well, I mean,
Have you kissed somebody
Yes.
outside your race?
Yes.
well, actually, like, let's see.
Just say yes or no, mofo. Yes or no.
Well, I know. I'm trying to see.
I love the rainbow.
I
Whoa.
Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, you
Let the man answer. Let the man
right.
answer.
Hey, it's my time.
Black on the rainbow.
Yeah, the talking stick is in place.
No, but
I quit.
I see. Well, I've actually I was with someone. I mean, I don't know if it's like the same race or not, but it was someone like Salvadorian, and I'm like Oaxacan, so maybe that can be considered. I don't know.
Different
I'm
culture.
sorry, it
No,
happened.
that's
Different
still
cultures.
Latino.
No,
That's
right?
still Latino.
Yeah, so,
Let's
I
try.
mean, I think that's as far as I've gotten. Like, I've never actually been out like you guys say, like outside the box.
Mhm.
That's as far as I got from actually going out. Like,
Need a
Okay,
bigger box.
Nick, what about you? Have you dated someone outside of your racial group?
I don't have a girlfriend.
I hate 50 Frank.
No.
What is that?
No. I've well, there's been other people that's been interested in me that were a different color, but I was like, I wasn't really, you know, the type of guy who goes into relationships because I'm not really, you know, well invested into people.
So no.
So no, that's the short
Okay.
answer. There you go.
I'll say mine though.
Okay,
I
Irving's
kissed a
jumping
white
in.
girl, Indian girl,
Are
Armenian
you are you
girl,
bra- are
and
you
black
bragging?
girl.
I think he's
Are you
bragging.
bragging?
Yeah,
He's
I'm
totally
bragging.
Okay,
bragging.
is that part of your bucket list?
Yeah, it's my bucket list.
Hey, but you know.
All right, Irving.
Yes and no.
Not
Well, yeah, I'm just keep it
Save
simple.
it,
No.
Take it personal.
I'm not. Or you
You
talking
say
to
no?
him? Yeah, no.
No?
No,
I
it's
mean, yeah, but it was like a New Year's kiss, and I was like, well, okay, that doesn't really count.
That wasn't
What?
dating. That's
What do
like
you
that's not
mean?
dating.
That doesn't really count.
hey, it was
We need to branch
contact.
out,
Wait,
y'all.
are we talking about
Wait,
dating
wait,
or
wait.
kissing people?
He's
Anything,
kissing.
any kind of relationship.
Oh, then yes.
Ooh,
Good for
What's
you.
your kiss?
His
Okay,
mom.
okay.
Sorry.
This is a whole
Anyways.
nother conversation now.
Who's your mom, man?
Is it was wonderful.
Latino, it has to be different.
All right, y'all. Well, we're gonna wrap it up
Right.
now. We're gonna wrap it up.
Wrap it up like a Christmas gift, guys.
We're like 4 or 5 months towards that. Like,
That's it.
Christmas is
What are you talking about? Santa's right here.
Ho ho ho.
There you go.
All right, y'all. We will see you next time on the 2 Cent Sesh. Thank you for
Bye.
thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Album
Yeah.
coming out
See ya.
soon.
Album coming out,
Bye.
mixtape coming
All
out.
on my mixtape, man.
Straight fire.
Subscribe to us on the comedy.
They suck.